Welcome to Ham Radio Networking, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can install ASL3 with your Sherry node, as well as getting DVSwitch hooked up to that. So you can do clearnode type of stuff, or if you just want DVSwitch on an ASL3 installation, this video is for you. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with getting ASL3 installed and working with the Sherry node. So if you just want the DVSwitch installation, feel free and skip around to the video until you see that part. But we're going to start off. We have ASL3 installed. I got it installed through the instructions on AllStarlink's GitHub IO website. So I'm going to start off configuring it by using ASL-menu. So I'm going to hit node settings, AllStar node setup, and I'm going to enter my node number 580784. I'm going to go to my AllStarlink website and I'm going to copy the password and paste it in there. I'm going to do half duplex with courtesy. I'm going to do hotspot half duplex with courtesy times. I'm going to use Simpleusb. I want to put in my call sign, and we're going to restart asterisk. We're going to change a couple things along the way. We're going to exit this menu for now. So we have 580784, we have our password, call sign, Simpleusb, duplex type is 1. That's correct. And we're pulling node status. So we're going to back out of everything, and we're going to do, no, not everything. So now we're going to change our rpt.conf file. No, our Simpleusb settings. So we need to open our Simpleusb conf file. We're going to use nano, so I'm going to select number 2. So we use nano to edit it. Actually, I'm going to back out of everything. I want to make my text really small because I'm going to be removing a lot of text. But this is pretty straightforward. So we're going to scroll down all the way to the bottom. You see this 580784 node main. So I'm going to go ahead. This information will be in the description of the video. I'm going to just paste all this information in here. I'm also going to go ahead and delete all the stuff that's in the example and set up, and also paste this in here. So we'll be back for that. So we have that pasted, so we're on Control and Control X. I want to restart asterisk. Hit OK. Back to menu, exit menu. And I want to make it to where you guys can see again. So let's test and make sure it's working. Key 0 and key testing. And you can see that it comes back. So now we're going to go into the tune settings because the audio is quite low. So we're going to go to node settings, AllStar node setup, update. So pretty much we're updating the node. So you just hit it until you're on your node. And then we're going to hit 8 for interface tune CLI. We're going to select number 2. So we select our RX level, and we're going to look at what our RX level looks like. This is K0 and NK testing. You want it to hit 3 kilohertz, I believe, a lot. So I'm going to set it to 700. K0 and NK testing. I'm going to set it to 750. And that should be good. So enter. I want to select the transmit level to 990. 4 and select that to 990. Now W and 0. So get out of there. We'll go back and we're going to restart asterisk. So now we're going to see how well this works. K0 and NK testing. Audio is nice and loud. My audio should be perfect. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and connect to parrot test. So RPT function, your node number, *3555553. So we're going to connect to the parrot. And it's connecting.
Node 55553 connected to node 580784.
It's connected, and now I'm going to test my audio. This is Kilo 0 November Kilo testing parrot.
Audio level is pretty good. Kilo 0 November Kilo testing parrot.
Sounds pretty good. I think my message was just a little too short, so it didn't pick it up quite. So we're going to exit out of that, and we know, actually no, we're not. We're going to disconnect. So let's go ahead, disconnect from parrot, and then exit. So now we're going to get DVSwitch installed. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a node number. I'm choosing 1998. You're going to hit none of the above, show all apps. So you add node 1998, hit none of the above, show all settings. We're going to hit that. So now we have everything set up the way we want it. So here we're going to have no radio interface or hub. We're going to select that to USRP. This will enable our USRP so we can get everything working fine. We're going to hit our duplex type. We're going to select half/full duplex with no telemetry link. We're going to hit that. We're going to hit OK. And now we want it half duplex. Hit OK for that. Now we're going to back out. We're going to back out again. And we're going to restart asterisk. And we're going to make sure that we can connect to that node number now. So we're going to start 31998. And it's working, I think. Alright, it's working. USRP is not going to work this second. So now we're going to disconnect. Okay, so now let's get DVSwitch installed. All these commands, by the way, that I'm running will be in the description of this video. So we're going to wget dvswitch.org/bookworm because we're on Debian 12 bookworm. We're going to chmod bookworm +x, and then we're going to run bookworm. That's going to, what this is going to do is it's going to get all the packages that are needed installed and ready, and it's going to pretty much make it to where you can install DVSwitch without having to do everything manually. Because you can't just apt install DVSwitch, you have to run it through a secondary package. So now we're going to install dvswitch-server. We're going to update, even though I don't think you have to do this anymore, it's still always good to update, so I'm going to go ahead and update this. Make sure everything's up to date, and then we're going to install dvswitch-server. We're going to hit yes, and then we're going to let it install. This is going to take a couple minutes, so grab a cup of coffee, sip on it, and then come back to this. Okay, DVSwitch is installed. It's installed. So we're going to go ahead and configure DVSwitch. So cd user local dvs, and we're going to run dvs. Hit yes, English, configuration for the initial configuration. We'll hit yes, put in your call sign, put in your DMR ID, put in your DMR ID with an extra digit added, with the 2 SSID numbers. Enter USRP port none for default. Hit yes. We're going to scroll down, select 31044 for my Brandmeister server. I'll put in my password, and I'm going to use the software vocoder for this. Let's see. Okay, so that's good. And so I'm going to configure TGIF. So I'm going to have my TGIF password in here. So now we have TGIF. And that's only if you want TGIF. So now we're going to cancel, and we're going to exit. Now that we have exited, let's go ahead and configure our configuration files. It did most of the configuration for us, but we still need to configure a few things. So go into opt, analog bridge, and edit analog bridge.ini. So in here, we're going to make sure our software vocoder is enabled. It is. MB audio, don't worry about that. Make sure your ID is in there. It is. USRP, we're going to use 34001 and 32001. Audio Unity, that's fine for now. We can adjust that later, and we're going to hit Control O, Control X. Get out of there and CD into MMBVM bridge and nano MMBVM bridge.ini. We're going to make sure that's set up correctly. We have our DMR ID, our call signs correct. I'm scrolling down. Everything's enabled. Our DMR network is selected for TGIF. That's good. Everything with MMBVM bridge is set up. Analog bridge is set up. That's all we need set up for now. So let's go ahead and start them. Ideally, they would work out of the box, but we might have to do a little troubleshooting to get things working. So let's go ahead, and there's this cool command that you can use as well. So we're going to do systemctl start md380-emulator, and we're going to start analog bridge, and then we're going to start MMBVM bridge. And at this point, everything just might work. Not sure yet. I'm going to find out. So I'm going to have analog bridge tuned to DMR. We run the command, it'll take a second, and it's in DMR. And we're going to select, I want to see if it's on DMR. I'm checking my TGIF hotspot. My TGIF thing. So now we're connected on pair. Let's see if it loads or not. Let's select YSF. So I want to change mode to YSF, and then we're going to tune to the parrot. And the parrot, I use tune YSF as you put in the address and then the port. So I want to see if this works. K0 and NK testing, 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 testing. Probably won't. I'm going to reboot. So I think we have a wrong USRP port. So we're going to change the USRP port because we're not getting anything from that. So let's go ahead and nano the analog bridge configuration file. Scroll down to USRP. We're going to flop these numbers around. I'm going to reverse these numbers. We're going to systemctl restart analog bridge. See if that fixes the issue here. Again, we're going to make sure we're connected over YSF. Alright, we're on the proper port, so I think this should work. Let's test it. K0 and NK testing on YSF. K0 and NK testing. This should work.
K0 and NK testing on YSF. K0 and NK testing.
And it worked just like that. Pretty simple, pretty easy. You just have to make sure you do everything 100% correctly, or you might get a few errors. So let's go ahead and I'll run you through all the configuration files and all the settings that you need to have correct. And please don't troubleshoot anything. Make sure all the settings are all what I have, and if they're not, then change them to that and see if that helps you a little bit. For starters, we're going to go with all Starlink. Make sure that your private node is connected to your public node. So when you're in your private node, make sure that it's the radio interface is USRP, and you're selected with half duplex with no telemetry tones. That's what you want in your private node number, and make sure everything is restarted there. For our DVSwitch, what we want, this is what we want. So you want all your call sign information correct. You want your decoder right here, your emulator. You want all that set to true. AV audio should be due, whatever. Have your DMR ID in there. And under USRP, have TX port 32001 and the RX port 34001. This is for All-Star to communicate with YSF. And we'll get out there. Now let's show you what MMDB and Rich will look like. Pretty much what you want to see in MMDB from Rich is not too much. You just want to see your call sign, your DMR ID. But you also want to see every single mode is enabled. And you also want to see that TGIF is set up correctly. You have your right password and network, and you have your right address and stuff in there. And that's pretty much all the configuration you need to do. Just make sure your private node's connected. Make sure it's connected successfully. And other than that, it's really simple if you just make sure you follow 100% by what I